Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel. About a month ago I went back to my parents' farm and we did a walk around tour of a lot of old machinery, and that was part one of the Great Farm Cleanup. We've now come to part two. These episodes aren't going to come along all that often because it takes a while to organise things. The farm, or my parents' house, is about 3 hours drive from here, but I'm planning to go back there shortly. In the meantime, I've been at the computer today. We're going to list a lot of the machinery, and if you remember the walk around, and I'll put a link underneath, if you remember the walk around of all the machinery, I said we're going to try and eBay it. It's the best way to get rid of it. Some of it's only going to be scrap metal, but I'm going to run a lot of listings through eBay. I'm going to list them in a couple of days' time, and I'm allowing for a 10-day auction. We will watch the auctions finish in this video, and then about 2 or 3 days after that I'll be going over to the farm, and hopefully we get some sales and people come and pick stuff up. So this will be part two. Part three will be when we do the next trip, which might only be two weeks off, something like that. So come along with me. I'll show you what I'm doing on the computer, and you can watch the auctions. I will film the final seconds of each auction because that can be fun to watch the bids go up. Hopefully we get bids. So look, come and have a look on my computer and I'll show you what I'm doing. So here are the drafts that I've put up already. I've been listing these this afternoon, and I'm just listing them all as a draft so that in a couple of days' time I'll actually make each auction live, and we shall then leave them run for 10 days. But I might list them like at 10 minutes apart so that when they all finish I can be here and we can watch them. So I've got, this is all the stuff that I showed in the first video. There's a baler, there's a large harrow bar, there's a little boom sprayer, a hay rake, a hay elevator, a slasher. If you want to have a look at this lineup, I actually filmed this in the last episode. So let's just list one now and I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm actually in my dad's account on his eBay page, so then it says that the items are located where he is and not where I am. And if he gets any questions, he can answer them from his end, but I will log in and monitor what's going on. So if we want to do a listing, we'll go to list an item up here, and I'm going to, what am I up to? I'm going to list a grain auger. So sometimes it's difficult to get eBay to suggest the right listing categories, but we'll try grain auger and see how we go. And we'll click search. And what is it? Suggested industrial farming and agriculture other. That's probably okay, but I think there's a better category somewhere. So if we click on that one, yeah, we can then look at what other options. They're the suggested ones. But if we go to industrial, and the only reason I know this is I've been listing a few farm things this afternoon. As I said, sometimes it's really difficult to find the right spot. So under the industrial section, we have the farming and agriculture, but we also have heavy machinery, parts and attachments. I think that might be the one. Heavy machinery, attachments and implements. I forget where I was now. Yeah, this one has balers, farm stuff, and I think it has grain equipment. There we go. I think that's a much better category. So yes, it can be a bit messy to sort out, and even though a lot of people search eBay for keywords, there are still people that browse categories. So most farmers looking for grain equipment you would think browse this category. So continue. It's used, this one, but it is still working. Continue with listing. So you've just got to jump through all these hoops, go through all these pages. We need keywords in the title because that's how most people find listings on eBay. So we'll start with, it's a Sherwell is the brand. Sherwell 40-foot grain auger. I like to have capitals and all my main words in a title. Grain auger, it's a PTO drive, which is power takeoff drive. So it doesn't have its own motor, it's not hydraulic. Perhaps we'll just finish with good working order. I normally have titles with more keywords. I just can't think of anything else to go with the grain auger here. We'll go through the item specifics. Used condition, brand is Sherwell. I think we have to type that in. They usually don't have... Oh, they do have some brands. Let's see if it's in there. I think Sherwell is an Australian brand. No, it's not in there. So we'll add that. I think we'll forget about the rest of those specific item specifics. Of course, we do need photos. So I'll click on my folder. I don't think the screen viewer thing that I use here actually shows my folder while I'm selecting photos. So bear with me. They'll pop up in a minute. I'm just picking out the photos I took. Open, and then they should appear here. There we go. So you can see it's a very long auger. That's probably the best picture as far as the main photo goes. I've taken a few others of the actual drive mechanism, and the end of it does have a bit of wear to the inner spiral, so we do need to mention that. Otherwise it's in operational condition. So we'll put the details in our description. Now with the description, I'm going to delete that part because that's really just the title we wrote. So we want to, I'll just paste here because this is what I've been adding to all the listings. I'll obviously take out this part because that was for when I did the hay rake, and we'll do a little bit of a description on it. Okay, so there's my description of it. I'm not going to go into too much detail. The rest of it, as I mentioned, is what I'm adding to all these listings just to explain about the farm situation and when I plan to be back, and hopefully that can coincide with when people want to pick things up, assuming we sell them, and where the farm is situated, and basically just that we're deciding to use eBay because we don't have enough good machinery for a normal clearing auction, and we're starting the auctions cheap with no reserves to clear things out quickly. So there we go. That's pretty well all I'm doing. The only other thing we have to do with this listing is set a start price. I'm not sure what these augers are worth. This is a fairly old one, but I think we possibly still should be able to start it at, let's start it at $500. We're doing an auction anyway, so hopefully we can find a buyer for that price. You do have to check on some of these other specifics because eBay sometimes tick things that I don't want, like I don't want offers, and I want the auction duration to go for 10 days. And now the postage, clearly we can't put it in the mail. Local pickup, it's got the right postcode, and that's all we need to do. So I'll click on preview. It'll give us a look at how the page is going to look. Our title looks okay, just check for any spelling mistakes. I may check with Dad on the start bid, and we might start it at 1,000 perhaps, or 500, I don't know, we'll see what he reckons there. Pickup is the right address, and the description is there. So that's all we have to do. We can close that preview. I could list this now, but I'll click save for later. I could also schedule it, but I'm going to manually start them all about 10 minutes apart. So you can see that's added that to our list there. So yeah, I've got a few more to do. We'll show you, perhaps we'll tune in about halfway through the auctions and show you how they're going. And then we'll tune in right at the end in the dying seconds of each auction, and hopefully that'll be a bit of fun. Okay guys, we're about halfway through these auctions. There is some action. There's a few things going on. It's very slow to start, but we're really kicking off now. I did share the link to this auction, or this group of auction items, on a few local Facebook pages, and I think that's helped a lot. So our homemade boost sprayer, which we were hoping to get 54, we've actually got 2 bids. There's 3 watches. It's at 53, so we're just happy that that one's going to be going. The New Holland baler has a $1,000 bid. 71 views, 12 watches. It's had the 1 bid. Pretty happy with that. Not much interest at all in the large Harrow bar. It's only got 1 watcher, no bids. The hay rake, there's 2 watches on it, but no bids. The large square bale elevator hasn't got any watches. Not many people use those small square bales anymore, especially building haystacks. Probably the best thing out of the lot was this large trailing slasher, We started at 1500. It's got 6 watches. I would expect that will get a bid towards the end, hopefully. A bale loader has got 1 watcher on it, but no bids. This old finger or sickle mower surprised me, actually. I thought it would probably go for scrap, but it's got 4 watches on it. There's 2 bids, but it's still at the 100, and that means that the person that put the opening bid on it has decided to put an extra bid. So he might have just put a $100 bid and then thought, oh, I might put 150 on it. So we don't know what his top bid is, but I know he's prepared to pay more than 100. The Akibar, a large cultivator, has 1 watcher, no bids. The Scarifier has had 1 bid at $500. It's probably worth more than $500 for scrap metal because it's very heavy, but that's all right. We're happy for someone to tow it away. We'd never get it on a truck and be able to take it to a scrapyard. It should get some more. It's got 4 watches. There might be some more bids. This loading scoop bucket has 3 watches but no bids. No one's interested in the cattle feeder. We have got a $20 bid on this post-hole digger frame, so that's pretty good. The slasher is getting a lot of interest. This 3-point linkage offset slasher, 7 bids, 15 watches. It's gone from 200 to 255. It is in operational condition, but it has got some serious rust, so it does need repair, but that's good. There's 3 watches on that big auger that you saw me list, but no bids at the moment. Surprisingly, someone's bid on this 3-point linkage cultivator. I didn't think that would be that desirable to farmers these days, but maybe it has its uses. So it's got a $50 bid. 2 watches on the Deep Ripper, and the last thing, we've got 18 items on at the moment. The last thing's a Deep Ripper that's been converted to a channel cleaner, and it actually has a bid as well. So halfway through, that's pretty promising. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the end. I decided to start the auctions actually at 2 minutes apart, so they're going to finish pretty quickly. I will try and keep up with it all when everything's going on right at the end of the auction period, so we'll see you then. So guys, there's still 1 full day to go. I thought we'd just check in and give you a quick look because there has been quite a bit of action. It's been quite steady actually. I've been logging in every day and there's been more and more things getting bids and extra bids, so that's pretty cool. Out of the 18 items, we've actually got 12 of them that will sell, and I expect there could be some snipers on some of the other ones in the dying moments tomorrow evening. So a quick rundown. The boom spray hasn't gone any higher than I think when you last saw it, but we have had a few questions about it, and I think one guy was going to ring Dad and go and have a look. So I don't know, but look, it doesn't matter if it doesn't go any higher. We just wanted to get rid of that. We didn't think it was worth much. The hay baler has actually gone up. There's been 4 bids. It's at 1,075, but there are 15 watches on that. Just this afternoon, the folding harrow bar has got a $1,000 bid. There's only 1 watcher on it, but it has got a bid at 1,000, so that's very pleasing to see. The hay rake hasn't had any bids yet, but there are 3 watches, so perhaps people don't use those little hay rakes anymore. I did have a guy message me about the hay bale elevator and also the loader, and he said if they don't sell on eBay to let him know, so we may be able to do a sale afterwards if they don't sell. No bids there, only 2 watches. No bids on the main slasher, but there might be someone come out of the shadows just at the end on that one. I think that's pretty cheap for what it is. I'd be surprised if it doesn't sell. And that's the bale loader, which the other guy I mentioned before had asked me about. So I will message him if they don't sell. 4 watches on that one. This one has been a big surprise. I was pleased when it got a $100 bid. This finger bar mower, and it's now up to 330 with 20 bids. So it does need work. It's got 1 tyre that's had it. It hasn't been used for a few years. I've pointed that out in the description. Very happy with that. $330. I wonder if there's much more in that. The big Ackland cultivator bar hasn't had much interest. Only 1 watcher. The Scarifier has just the 1 bid, which has been the same for the last 5 days or so. The scoop got a bid, the 3-point linkage loader scoop or a bucket. So it's got 1 bid at $50. Look at that. The cattle hay feeder actually has got a $20 bid as well. This is stuff that we weren't going to bother putting on eBay. I was going to try it on a Facebook group, but I'm happy they've got bids on eBay. You know, all right, we've got to pay fees on it, but where it's all about cleaning up, and if we get most of it gone in one hit, that's going to help. There was one bid on this earlier, I think, on the post hole digger frame, and the slasher has got a lot of interest here. It's still going up, $340 now, 13 bids. And I just answered a question only 5 minutes ago. A guy said, is there any way of loading it on his trailer if he wins? And I said, yes, we can arrange that. So that may go a bit higher. The auger has 4 watches but no bids. So, hopefully that goes, because that's the biggest implement of the lot of them. This one has been a surprise. I got a surprise when I had a $50 bid, and now it's up to $100. The little 3-point linkage cultivator. So 8 bids on that one. And the Deep Ripper had, it's got 3 bids now, but it's only gone from $50 to $51. Still, that's fine. And the last one has just got a bid. It's had 2 now as well. So every time I check in, there's a bit more action now. So, yeah, look at that. 12 out of the 18 items are going to sell. We'll check it tomorrow night, and we'll follow the closure of each auction. Okay guys, there's only 15 minutes until the first auction finishes, so we're really getting down to the nitty-gritty. Let's just quickly scroll through them. There has been action today. The sprayer is up to $100. It's had 7 bids. Pretty happy with that. The New Holland baler has gone to $16.75. Last night we checked that, it was at $1,075, so it's gained $600. Look, there's an extra bid that's just happened. An extra bid on the folding harrow bar, so $1,025. No one's bid on the hay rake yet. There's no bids on the hay elevator. Maybe no one wants hay equipment. Look, I knew there'd be a bid on this. The slasher has now a $1,500 bid, so there's 10 watches there. Again, not interested in the hay equipment. The finger bar mower is up to $365. What was it last night? $330. So it's gone up a little bit. The Aki bar, cultivator bar, no, there's only 3 watches, so that one probably won't sell. The Scarify has an extra bid. That was at $500 yesterday. That's $530. The Scoop is still at $50. I think these ones are all pretty much the same. They've all got bids though. The 3-point linkage slasher is at $495. What was that last night? That was at $340. So that's really getting up there. That's amazing money. I don't know what it costs to buy these new, but considering that needs repair, that's pretty good money. The auger, no takers on the auger. The cultivator was at $100 yesterday, and these last 2 are the same. So we'll be back here very shortly to watch what's first, the boom sprayer, and then every 2 minutes one will finish. I'll try and keep up, and hopefully you enjoy it. I've got sweaty palms. I love auctions finishing when there's plenty of action, and I'm sure the bidders sitting home, wherever they're bidding from, will have sweaty palms as well, and probably having a drink just to steady their nerves. So the time has come, the last 30 seconds of the first auction. I'll try and get the last 30 of each. Hopefully it's entertaining for you. We have 21 seconds to go. $100 on this old boom spray. I listed it for parts or not working. It has some issues. I'm surprised at 100. We were happy to take 50. Let's see if there's any more bids. There's been 7 in total. I'll write these figures down as we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. No more bids. No. Oh, a late snipe. It made $102.50. Someone jumped right in at the last minute, and obviously the previous winning bidder had just put $100 on it. So there we go. First one sold, $102.50. Now just under 30 seconds to go on the hay baler. $16.75 is a pretty good bid, and they're getting another one for parts. I did have someone message me just today to ask how much we wanted for the one for parts, and I said, well, if the winning bidder doesn't take it, we might do some business or relist it, or it might go for scrap. 8 seconds left. 7, 14 bids here. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Is there a late snipe on this one? $16.75. That's the final price. Pretty happy with that though. Excellent. And there's been a crazy bidding war going on the harrow bar. It's up to $1,700, so it's jumped $700 today, and quite a lot since we last saw it 15 minutes ago. 20 seconds to go. There's only 7 bids to get to $1,700. I wonder if someone's going to come in at the end, or they've exhausted their funds. I'm not sure if it's been a sniper pegging away at someone else's price, or it's been a tug of war sort of bidding. 3 seconds to go. 2, 1. Any final bids? Is it 1700? 1725. Someone's just jumped in. It might have been, I don't know, I'll check the bidders out later, but that's a fantastic price. I'm sure Dad will be happy with that. And now we get to the not so desirable hay equipment. 25 seconds to go. 1,000 was probably asking a bit much for the hay rake, although there is one for spares as well, but I guess it just depends on whether people use these old rakes anymore. 15 seconds. If it doesn't sell, we'll probably relist it with the next lot of stuff I'll do, and we might just drop it to 500. 7 seconds. Any snipers? Sometimes someone will jump out of the shadows at the end. 2 seconds. 1 second. Last call. Any bids? No bids. That's a non-sale. Oh well, that's not too bad. We're a pretty good strike rate so far. 30 seconds left on the hay elevator. Now, we haven't had much interest in the hay equipment. Dad bought this apparently years ago. It hasn't got a motor on it, and he said he never ever actually used it to load hay. I think he actually used it as a ramp to put a tank up on a high tank stand at one stage. But anyway, 9 seconds to go. I do have someone that's interested in this and the loader if they don't sell on eBay. We'll see if there's any late bids. 2 seconds, 1 second. Any bids at all? No bids. Okay, well, I'll be contacting that person that asked about those. And now the trailing slasher has had more bids. Now I think this is the best piece of equipment in the lot here. It's at 1625. It's had 5 bids. We started it at 1500. So there's 16 seconds left. I would have thought this would bring the most money of the lot, but of course we had 1725 for the Harrow bar, so that's currently leading. 6 seconds to go. There might be some snipers on this. I think there was a few watches on it. 1 second. Any final bids? No. 1625. Well, there you go. It was pipped by the Harrow bar for the best implement. 30 seconds to go on the loader, and we have a bid. So someone does want equipment for small hay bales. It's a $100 bid. So whoever messaged me about the large elevator and this one, they're obviously going to miss out on this one unless they've decided to bid themselves. 13 seconds to go. 12, 10. We'll see how we go. Haven't had any snipers much tonight, just a few little ones. So I'd like to get a bit of sniping action. But there wasn't many watches here. 1 second to go. Final price is $100. 30 seconds to go now on the finger bar mower or sickle mower. 365 is excellent. We started at 100, I think, and I was happy when it got a $100 bid. So there was 22 bids to get it up to 365, and has gone up a little bit today. So 10 seconds to go. Are there any snipers? I don't remember if there was many watches on this, but there's certainly been some interest. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Any final bids here? No, 365, but we've got to be happy with that. And under 30 seconds now for the Ackland cultivator bar, and it has got a bid. Here was I saying just before that it probably wouldn't. There was hardly any watches on it, but someone has put a $500 bid on it. These were locally made in the Wimmera in a town called Rapanyup, which wasn't far from Matoa where I grew up. In fact, I used to work in Rapanyup for a couple of years at the big garage there. 6 seconds to go, $500. I don't expect any snipers on this, but we're happy to take our 500. That's a good sale. And now the Scarifier, and it has had an extra bid, so $530. In fact, it's had 3 bids. We only started at 500, and the thing would be worth more than that for scrap. It would probably weigh 3 ton, 4 ton, I don't know. They're made out of very heavy gauge steel, but whatever the case, we're happy for it to be towed away. 9 seconds to go. I don't expect any snipers here. I don't think there was a lot of interest, but we're happy to get some bids. 2 seconds, 1 second. Any final bids? No, 530. Happy with that. That's excellent. This 3-point linkage rear scoop, it goes on a Massey Ferguson, well, it's a Massey Ferguson make. Actually it's got 2 bids, but we only started at $50. So the person that's decided to bid has put an extra bid on it. he'll still only get it for 50 unless someone else chimes in. So let's see if there's any late bidders on this. It's pretty cheap at $50 actually. I thought it might have got a bit more interest. 1 second, any more bids? 50, oh, 66, there we go. Someone's had a bit of a snipe. So I still don't know if it's the original bidder or not. I'll check the details later, but there you go, $66 for the Massey Ferguson scoop. And next is this homemade cattle hay feeder. It's just made out of pipe and some reinforcing mesh. I was surprised it got a bid. I don't expect it to go any higher. But if someone's won one of the other pieces of machinery, they may choose to bid just because they're going to be here at the farm anyway. But we'll see what happens. 7 seconds. $20 is pretty fair for that. It wouldn't be worth that for scrap. 1 second. Any final bids there? $20.50. Can you believe it? Someone jumped in and sniped and won it for an extra 50 cents. I'll check the buyers later, but it could well be someone that's bought one of the pieces of equipment already. $20.50. Now again, I don't really expect any more bidding on this. $20, it's probably not quite worth that for scrap. But someone may have a post hole digger and may have damaged the frame and need a new frame. I think I mentioned in the description that Dad used to use it just as a lifting jib on the back of a little Fergie tractor. I don't know what happened to the post hole attachment. I think the gearbox might have blown up. 5 seconds to go. Any further bids on $20, or is that it? Refresh, $20, that's it. Still, it's going. That's fantastic. And now the 3-point linkage slasher. What an astounding price. $495 for something that, let's zoom in on the rust spot. That whole section's rusted out. I mean, it's only panels. It certainly can be repaired. But, and they don't get the top arm with it, which I did mention. 9 seconds to go. I doubt there'll be any more interest in this, surely, but there's been 18 bids and there was a lot of watches. $4.95. I think that'll pull it up. What do we got? $5.10. There we go. Someone jumped in and it just cleared $500. Amazing. And while we've been watching the other auctions finished, someone snuck in with a $1,000 bid on the big auger. So that's excellent. I'm really happy that's going to be going. 22 seconds left. There wasn't I think there was about 5 watches. I don't know that there's going to be a sniper on it, but I am pleased to see it got a $1,000 bid. We were nearly going to list it at $500, but then of course you'd need 2 bidders to fight it out to get it up around this high. So $1,000 is a good price, but it's a good auger still. It's got some work left in it. Final call. Any more bidders? $1,000. That's fine. Excellent. Now this little implement is another one that surprised me. I didn't think it would have much interest, but it's got to 100. There's been 8 bids. It's a 3-point linkage little cultivator, homemade. It's been made from the float sections from under a sewing combine, but I guess it would do the job nicely on a small block. I don't know if there's any more bids left in it. Let's see. There's 6 seconds to go. 2 seconds, 1 second, any more bids? $100 is it, but that's excellent. No worries there at all. Only 2 items left. We have this Deep Ripper, which did need repair. Let's have a quick look at that photo if we can. The frame there, I think you can see right in the middle there's a crack. It's been reinforced with some angle iron. But someone obviously can see value. There's been a few bids whilst we've been watching the other stuff. 8 seconds to go. $83 is pretty good. Mind you, it's probably not worth that for scrap, even though it's very heavy. 1 second. Final price. Any late bids? Oh, look at that. That's what you call a snipe. $153.50. What a great effort. It's interesting that the snipes are all happening instantly at the end. When I used to buy on eBay, you would have to manually snipe, but they obviously all use an automatic sniping program. That's an excellent price. And the last one now, this is a Deep Ripper that had been converted to a channel cleaner. It's look, it's had a little bit of interest. I think there was a few watches on it, but I don't hold out hopes of this doing much. But we'll see. I mean, we can be surprised. That's the beauty of putting things on eBay for an auction. So 8 seconds to go. At 51, it's had 2 bids to get from 50 to 51. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Any final snipers on this one? Nope, $51. That's fine. That concludes our 18 items. I think next time I do this, I might limit it to 12 so that it doesn't drag on too long. But how about that? Let's get a total. Okay guys, we'll finish this video up now. I'm sitting in the van. I'm just about to take off for a 3-hour drive back to the farm. This week I've spent this morning messaging people and teeing up pickup times. So a lot's going to happen this week. So let's just finish this video up with a list of what we sold, and I'll be starting part 3 when I get to the farm tonight. So you'll see that follow-up video shortly. We'll go through who's picking up what we'll see the machinery hopefully leave the paddock, and we'll do a bit of a scout around to see what we can put on eBay next and what other cleaning up jobs we can do. And let's just finish with the list. You can see there the column on the right was the prices the previous night, and then the column in the middle is the final prices. So we got just over $8,500 back on those items with only 2 unsold. Of course we have eBay fees, and they amount to almost $1,000 or around about $1,000, so I think it's 12%. So it eats into it a little bit, but still it's the best way to find people quickly that want your stuff. And when we're cleaning up as a main priority, you know, it's nice to have about $7.5 grand to come in from quite dilapidated old farm machinery. Okay, let's hit the road. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.